We have time for one last prepared question. That question is from the Honorable Trey Martinez Fisher. He's a state representative from the state of Texas.
Senator, bienvenido a nuestra casa. Welcome to our home.
Thank you.
About 10% of our nation's active duty enlisted military is Latino, and Latinos represent about 17.5% of frontline forces performing some of the most dangerous field operations in Iraq. Latino voters in our forums expressed profound concerns with our military presence there. As the next president of the United States, what is your vision of our future policy on Iraq?
Well, as I mentioned before, we need to bring this war to a responsible, honorable end. I was opposed to this war from the start. I thought it was a bad idea to begin with. We are there now. We're not going to be able to bring the war to a close overnight, but if we are bringing out combat troops at a pace of 1 to 2 brigades per month, then we could have our combat troops home out of Iraq by the end of 16 months. It requires us to double down on our diplomacy as well. We've got to start focusing on working with the various factions inside of Iraq much more intensively, sending a message to them, you've got to work together. We can't hold this country together on our own. We've also got to talk to the regional players, including our enemies. Iran, Syria, we've got to be in direct talks with them, talking about stabilizing the country. And we've got to apply both carrots and sticks to those countries so that they're more cooperative. But that's the vision that I have for Iraq. And keep in mind what's at stake. Not only are we spending $10 to $12 billion a month in Iraq, money that could be spent in putting kids back to school here and rebuilding our infrastructure here. Think about our relations with countries elsewhere in the world. Do you know that our entire foreign aid budget to Latin America is approximately 1 week's of spending in Iraq? Now think about that. I mean, so what message does that send? Are we then surprised if somebody like Chavez is making inroads and fanning anti-American sentiment in Latin America if all they're getting from us is rhetoric and they're getting resources from Venezuela? So we've got to deal with this Iraq problem in part so we can deal with other threats. The threat of Iran, what's happening in Afghanistan, but also the opportunities to create the kind of partnership right here in the Western Hemisphere that has been neglected for too long.
Thank you, Senator. I have one final yes or no question for you before your closing statement.
Yes.
Let me ask the question.
I'll bet it's me coming back to NALEO.
Will you, if you're elected president, join us next year?
As president, I'm looking forward to being back and addressing you as president of the United States of America. So, let me